time when potatoes were shunned in France, one man's innovative tactics changed the game. Augustin Parmentier, a visionary, transformed the perception of potatoes as a valuable food source. With strategic moves, he showcased the potential of this humble vegetable. Parmentier's clever ploy of guarding the potato patch by day and allowing theft by night captured the curiosity and appetite of the French. The once overlooked potato became a symbol of culinary revolution, thanks to his ingenious strategy. Through Parmentier's perseverance and belief in the potato's potential, France embraced this versatile tuber with open arms. His legacy lives on in every French dish that features the beloved potato, a testament to his enduring impact on the country's culinary landscape. A French farmer tried to sue some rats, like actual rats, for eating his barley. The rats won the case and were acquitted. Apparently, animal trials were something of a fad in the Middle Ages. Often the animal would be put on trial, immediately found guilty, and then sentenced to either death or excommunication for their crimes. Maybe it was to reinforce the authority of the church and the law to locals. Maybe it was entertainment, or maybe they really wanted to execute justice on animals. This story may have been exaggerated, but it went like this. Rats were eating a farmer's barley, so they decided to sue the rats in one of these animal courts. The rats were assigned a lawyer by the name of Barthélemy de Chasseneuze, as the story goes, and the trial began. Of course, the rats didn't show up for their court date because they were rats and presumably did not understand time or calendars or the legal system. So the lawyer for the rats argued that they all live in different places, so their summons might not have reached them. The judge agreed, and the trial was rescheduled. Naturally, the rats failed to show up for their second court date as well. The lawyer then argued that it was daytime, cats were out and about, and the rats would be unable to move about freely while their mortal enemy was prowling around looking for them. The law at the time excused defendants from appearing in court if their life was in danger, so the rats were acquitted.
Welcome to a journey back in time, exploring the peculiar historical practice of sending children through the mail in the early 20th century. When the U.S. Postal Service allowed parcels over 4 pounds in 1913, the public pushed the boundaries, even sending babies through the mail. Postal patrons shipped various items, from eggs to babies, with the Biggs of Ohio famously sending their infant to visit his grandmother just a mile away. This practice, while unusual, was a cost-effective alternative to traditional transportation methods like passenger trains. Local familiarity with mail carriers likely contributed to the perceived safety of sending children through the mail. However, this trend was short-lived, with the last documented case of a child being mailed occurring in 1915, marking the end of this bizarre chapter in postal history.
In 1977, President Jimmy Carter embarked on a diplomatic journey to Poland, but little did he know that his interpreter had a knack for turning his words into a comedy of errors. As Carter addressed the Polish audience, his innocent intentions were hilariously twisted by the interpreter, making it seem like Carter had no plans of returning to the United States and was offering Poland a rather unconventional handjob. The misinterpretations didn't stop there. Carter's genuine curiosity about the Polish people's aspirations somehow got translated into a scandalous desire for Poland itself. With each mistranslation, the situation escalated. From declaring he'd never return to the US to expressing his eagerness to grasp at Poland's private parts, Carter found himself in a linguistic nightmare. The climax of this comedic debacle came during a state banquet when Carter's new interpreter, unable to comprehend his English, chose silence over further mistranslations. From a visit that started with unintentional innuendos to a toast met with awkward silence, President Carter's trip to Poland was a lesson in the importance of accurate translations and the perils of miscommunication.
The first recorded human flight in the UK was that of an English monk who made himself wings, jumped off a tower, glided for a bit, and promptly crashed and broke both his legs. As the story goes, Aylmer of Malmesbury built himself a pair of wings around the year 1005. He climbed up onto a tower and jumped off, managing to glide into a headwind for about a furlong. That's roughly 200 meters or 220 yards. But the headwind was strong, and he probably panicked a bit, so he ended up veering off to the side and crashing. According to writings about the event, he survived the crash, but broke both legs and had a limp for the rest of his life. He figured he would have been more successful if he had also made himself a tail.